Bodybuilder, actor, star. These are just three of the words to describe the phenomenon that is Lou Ferrigno. He's one of the biggest action stars we've ever had, and his journey and life achievements are an inspiration. But his journey hasn't been without struggles. He had a speech impediment, which would normally spell death for any aspiring actor. He had to find a way to reach the high ranks of the bodybuilding industry, especially when he came across stars like Arnold Schwarzenegger. Join Facts First to learn about Lou's life and career and the sad origin of his speech impediment. Louis Jude Ferrigno was born November 9, 1951 in Brooklyn. His father was a police lieutenant and his mother was a homemaker. As a young boy, he suffered from a speech impediment, and the sad origin only became known later. For some reason, he began experiencing serious ear infections at a young age. This eventually caused him to lose much of his hearing, and this not only made it harder for him to hear but also speak. The speech impediment and his hearing disability made him the target of bullies for much of his childhood. This caused Lou to become rather withdrawn, as he'd get pushed around by the other students. He was determined to fight back. In fact, this incessant bullying inspired him to become stronger and learn how to fight so he would never be bullied again. He began lifting weights at age 13 and never stopped after that. One of his early heroes was Steve Reeves, who was the star of Hercules, and he wanted to emulate him by becoming a bodybuilding star. Coming from a humble background, Lou couldn't afford weights, so he made his own. He attached 2 pails to a broomstick and filled them with cement, and this was the way he worked out. He eventually studied at Brooklyn Technical High School and studied metalworking. As he entered his late teens, he was becoming more serious about bodybuilding and decided to enter competitions. Upon graduating from high school and starting his bodybuilding career, his life fully changed. Lou Ferrigno's bodybuilding career. In 1969, when Lou Ferrigno graduated from high school, he won his first bodybuilding title as Mr. America in the 1969 IFBB Championship. 4 years later, he won the Mr. Universe title in the same competition. He then moved to Columbus, Ohio to train more. It was there he met Arnold Schwarzenegger, and the two trained together and also became rivals. In the mid-70s, he trained for the Mr. Olympia competition and was featured in the now classic documentary Pumping Iron, in which he and Schwarzenegger competed against each other to win the championship. While he didn't win, this was the film that brought him to greater attention in the mainstream and one that made him a star. He continued to participate in bodybuilding and strongman events for much of his life and would win many competitions. Often the money from these wasn't sufficient, so he took on odd jobs, including working at a sheet metal factory. He even played in the Canadian Football League for a brief period. His final competition was the 1994 Masters Olympia, and he was once again featured in a popular documentary about bodybuilding. It was called Stand Tall, and in this film, he was the protagonist. It focused on his childhood, his hearing and speech impediment, and his journey to becoming a successful bodybuilder.
Let's talk about the sponsor for today's video, Aura. Aura is an all-in-one solution to protect you from identity theft online. It includes identity theft protection, fraud monitoring, a VPN, password management, and antivirus software, all wrapped up into one easy-to-use app. If you're not using every single one of these tools to protect yourself, you're going to have a weak spot. It's like making sure your front door is locked, but leaving your back door wide open for intruders. Aura continuously monitors the dark web for any of your personal information, and they'll send you an alert the moment they find anything. I was shocked to find out that several of my login credentials were found on the dark web, and I wouldn't have known this without Aura. If you're active online, it's nearly impossible to protect all of your personal information unless you're using a tool like Aura. This is exactly why there are so many victims of cybercrime and identity theft. In fact, identity theft is so common, there's a new victim every 14 seconds. That means at least 3 people have had their identity stolen since I started talking about Aura in this video. So if you want to protect yourself and your family from identity theft, go to aura.com/factsverse. By visiting this URL or clicking the link in the description, you can get a 14-day free trial of Aura and start getting protection today.
Lou Ferrigno's acting career. Lou Ferrigno knew bodybuilding would not last forever, and he'd soon have to find other avenues to make a living. As his profile grew and he soon became more famous, it was clear show business was calling his name. Despite his hearing and speech impediments, he had a tremendous presence in public. Even while pursuing his career as a bodybuilder, he began looking for other options. It seemed the natural transition was to become an actor. especially since he loved action films and wanted to emulate his idol, Steve Reeves. In 1977, he was cast in the role of a lifetime as the Incredible Hulk in the series of the same name. The show was a hit and made Lou Ferrigno a huge star. While many actors have taken on the role of the Hulk, it's clear that Lou Ferrigno's portrayal remains the most popular and an inspiration for all future Hulks. The Incredible Hulk became one of the most popular American TV shows of all time, and Ferrigno became an even bigger star. He loved his experience on the show and credits his success and his transition to acting from this show. He played the role of the Incredible Hulk from 1977 to 1982. In 1983, he got to follow in Steve Reeves' footsteps when he was cast as Hercules in the film of the same name. This was an Italian-American production about the Greek god, and thanks to Lou's insistence, it became a family-friendly film. It was originally going to be filled with hardcore violence and sex, a common aspect of Italian action films of that era. The film was a huge hit and is perhaps one of Lou's best-known films. In 1983, he took on a dramatic role as John Six in the short-lived drama series Trauma Center. This was a great diversion from the action roles he was used to, and though the show didn't last long, it showed the tremendous range he had as an actor. The same year, he appeared in the Italian film The Seven Magnificent Gladiators. He played the leader of gladiators who tries to save an entire village from an evil bandit. Once again, this was a huge hit, and Lou Ferrigno became well known in both the USA and Italy. He continued to land guest roles in TV shows following these films. He appeared in shows such as The New Mike Hammer, The Fall Guy, and Night Court. In 1985, he appeared as Hercules again in the film The Adventures of Hercules. He also appeared in a TV movie in which he reprised his most famous role as the Incredible Hulk. In 1988, he appeared in the film Desert Warrior. This was an action sci-fi film where he played the leader of one civilization trying to fight against another for survivor. The following year, he tried his hand at comedy and joined the cast of All's Fair. The film became a huge hit, and this is arguably one of his best films. He starred alongside great actors like Sally Kellerman, George Segal, Robert Carradine, and John Capellas. He made a return to fantasy epics the same year when he starred as Sinbad in Sinbad of the Seven Seas. The same year, he also starred in one of his biggest films of all time, Cage. In this film, he played a former war veteran trying to adjust to civilian life. The film was a mix of action and drama and once again showed his incredible range. The same year, he starred in yet another hit film called Liberty and Bash. In this film, he worked alongside a great ensemble of actors in a film that followed former war veterans helping troubled youths, while one of them got involved in the drug trade. Since then, Lou has continued to work steadily in film and TV. He reprised his role yet again as the Incredible Hulk in the animated version of the show released in the 90s. He was so famous he even made cameo appearances as himself in The King of Queens. He did the same in the 2017 TV series Con Man. In the 2010s, he appeared in the films Instant Death, Enter the Fire, Purge of the Kingdoms, and Cross: Rise of the Villains. Recently, he's most known as Lenny Montana in the TV miniseries The Offer, which has once again made him a star and introduced him to a new legion of fans. He's currently filming for the lead role in an upcoming horror film called The Hermit. What Lou is up to today. We can only expect more great things from Lou Ferrigno. He's now in his 70s and working as hard as ever. He has served as an inspiration as an actor and bodybuilder, and we expect more and more new legions of fans will discover his work and be inspired. He was first married to Susan Groff from 1978 to 79. He's been married to Carla since 1980 and has 3 children with her. His son Brent was featured in the short reality series The Incredible Ferrignos, while his daughter Shauna is a producer and actress. His son Lou Jr. is also an accomplished actor in his own right. Now it's time to hear from you. Are you a fan of Lou Ferrigno? What's your favorite role of his? Let us know in the comments section below.